that was. The next is, these all are the questions from square of opposition. And as I always say, remember this diagram, make this diagram by heart, and there is no reason that you would have the questions on square of opposition incorrect. Now, the question says all republics are grateful is taken to be true. So when I say all republics are grateful is true, I am taking all as true. If this is true, which of the propositions can be false? So definitely the contradictory would be false. So some not would be false statement. So here obviously some not would be the false statement. Now if this is true, this again has to be true, false. So if this is true, I say this is again false. So you would have the statement that says no republics are grateful is again false. Okay, again when I say no republics are grateful or republics are not grateful, it's one and the same thing. So you have these statements that would be the false statement. I hope that makes it clear. Okay, Jyoti has a question regarding operant conditioning. So Jyoti, operant conditioning was an experiment that was done by Skinner, and there was a pigeon that was kept in a box, we could say, and that was known as the Skinner box. Now what happened in the Skinner box? Every time the pigeon used to click onto the lever that was there, okay, there was a window that would open, and from this window you would have a food peg that would come and the pigeon could eat it. Now this process, as it reinforced, pigeon got an understanding that when I press this lever, I am to get a food pellet, and that was an experiment which focused on reinforcement based learning. So it's very, very important to understand the difference between a reinforcement based learning and a stimuli response learning, as in the case of classical conditioning. The next question is, when subject and predicate of both the premises is same but they differ only in quantity, they are called as. Now what is the subject and predicate? In the first statement I say all flowers are red. Okay, in the next statement I say some flowers are red. Understand carefully what is meant by subject and predicate. So the flower becomes the subject, red becomes the predicate. So when the subject and predicate are same for both of those, now what would happen? They differ only in quantity. In one it is all, in other it is some. So what would happen? We are talking about all and some. We are just changing the quantity. So this would be a subaltern. So subaltern focuses on difference in quantity, and we call it as a superset, and this as a subset. So this would be a subset. Okay, so this is the subset of this superset. So if this is there, this has to be there. Okay, and therefore you would have subaltern as the right option. The next question is, no historians are non-mathematicians is equivalent to what? So this is simply equivalent to all historians are mathematicians. So that is a kind of, again, a very, very direct question, because if I say no historian is non-mathematician, okay, it's the same thing that we did in the very first question on syllogism problems. So again, the similar concept that we are trying to understand here. I hope that's clear. So when you have negative, it makes it positive. The next question, now this is where we focused in our classes on the ABC of psychology, the affective, behavioral and the cognitive aspects. So affective is talking about the affection, the behavior is talking about your actions, and cognitive focuses on your understanding. So the attitude of the teacher that affects teaching pertains to what? So affecting the teaching pertains to the affective domain, because it's trying to identify and understand how people learn or how students are able to learn. To meet the educational objectives, we are trying to focus on the affective domain, the cognitive domain and the psychomotor domain as well. But we are focusing on affecting the teaching. So it's focusing on just how the teaching is affected. and that is because of the affective domain that is there. The next question is a very simple question from analytical reasoning. Now you have 7 persons who are standing in a row. Mahesh is standing to the left of Ramesh. So let me put up Ramesh here. Okay, Mahesh is to the left of Ramesh. Okay, so this would be your left. Okay, for me this would become the left. So let me keep it my left only. So when you are writing, write it on your left. Okay, so this is Ramesh. You have Mahesh standing on the left of Ramesh but right of Vishnu. So that means from Vishnu the position of Mahesh is towards the right. Now Dinesh is standing right of Mayur and left of Vishnu. So left of Vishnu is Dinesh and Dinesh is right of Mayur. Similarly, Rohan is standing right of Ramesh. So right of Ramesh, that is this side, you would have Rohan, and Rohan is left of Rahul. So here you have Rahul. Now, who is at the second position from right? So you have to find out your right. So that is this. So this is the rightmost and this is the leftmost. Okay, now the second position from the left, the second position from the right. So second position from the right is Rohan. So your answer would be Rohan here. The next question is a question on direction problem. Now understand carefully. The question says in which direction he is now from his home, and as always I have been saying, when we say in which direction he is now from his home, that means it's a very important part to understand that you are seeing the direction from home and not towards home. The answer would be exactly opposite in both the cases, and both the choices are most of the time given in your question paper, and there is where most of the confusion comes in. Okay, so let's first start begin to solve this question, and then we'll proceed to what actually the direction is. Now let's say Ravi moves, so this is the position of Ravi, this is the initial position. He moves towards 15 kilometers towards north. Now after moving north, this is the hand in which I have the pen, and this is the right hand. Now turning towards the right, he moves 25 kilometers, and again when this is the position, this is my right, so this would go down again. So from this 15 kilometers you would have 25 kilometers that is there. Now from this 25 kilometers again right, and moving a distance of 30 kilometers. So this is 15 and 15 more, so this makes it 30 kilometer. Now in which direction he is from his home? So in which direction he is from his home? Now from his home, this is the direction. What is the direction towards his home? Listen carefully. What is the direction towards his home would be this direction. Now what we have to consider in this scenario is only the direction where we are focusing on, which is the direction from his home. So this is the direction. Now on north, south, east and west, this is the direction which is southeast. So you would have southeast as the right answer. Hope that makes it clear. The next question. Meera moves a distance of 75 meters towards north. So let's say this is the starting point. The Meera tries to move 75 meters north. Now she turns left. So left becomes this side. Walks for 25 meters and then again turns left. So from this, right is up, left is down. So again left. But here it is 80 meters. So a little below than 75. So I'll keep it till 75 and a little below than 75. So this is my new position. This is 80 meters. Now from this she turns right at an angle of 90 degree. Now if I'm saying right, this would be this direction. But it is not exactly right. It is 45 degrees to the right. So that makes it this. Now you have this as the 45 degree that is seen. Now this is the 45 degree that she would move from. She would turn to a right at an angle of 45. So this is the angle of 45 in which she would be moving. Now in which direction she is? So what direction she is? She is in the, again you have north, south, east and west. So this is the direction which is southwest. So you would have southwest as the right option here. The next question is, Now in this question, there was a question, what are these two terms that means? That is de jure and de facto. Now the question says, teacher is a leader both de jure and de facto. He is an authority before the student, so he has the right to lead, and while assuming the leadership of the students, he should follow which of the principles? Now let's first understand what is the meaning of de jure and de facto. De jure means it is with according to judiciary or law. De facto means that it is true even if it is not officially sanctioned. So there is, let's say a teacher is there in a university or a school. De jure is one what is as per the norms and the rules laid down by the university or the school. However, de facto is even if the norms are not laid down by the school. Let's say a child is significantly ill and there are no provisions for the child to be discharged to home or sent back to home. The teacher takes a decision to take the child out of the class and call their parents. So that is not officially sanctioned, but that is something which is a de facto act. So de jure and de facto, the meaning is clear. Now definitely providing opportunities to student is one of the major objectives of a teacher, whether it is made by law or it is not officially made by law. Similarly, preparing and planning for the student and creating a right atmosphere in the class. So all of those would be the right options. Now here the most important confusion was regarding the terminology. So I hope that's clear. Now here you have to have 5 friends that are there and 5 t-shirts, and then you have the shorts. Okay, so what we do is we simply create a table with t-shirts and shorts and the 5 students who are there. As it comes, we mark it. Okay, so let's mark first of all where the things are very clear. So we say Gopal wore, we'll take the second statement first. Okay, Gopal wore white t-shirt and Gunjan wore black shorts. So Gopal white t-shirt and Gunjan black shorts. Okay, so we are marking the things which are obviously given. Ritesh wore grey t-shirt and green shorts. So Ritesh wore grey t-shirt and green shorts. That is again obviously given. Hasmukh did not wear purple shirts. Okay. Then again, nobody wore the t-shirt and short of the same color. So if this is white, this cannot be white. If this is grey, this is not grey. Okay. So that is sure. So white could be either now here or white could be here. Okay. Now, the one who wore the black t-shirts wore the pink shorts and the purple goes with white. So you have purple that would go with white and black that would go with pink. That's also known. So the remaining 2 I can easily find it out. What would be the combination? Now it's clearly said purple did not, Hasmukh did not wear the purple t-shirt. So Hasmukh would wear what? Only 2 shades would be left here. So he would wear black, and when he is wearing black, this combination would be pink. And if this is pink, white cannot be here. So the only option white can be here would be this. And if this is white, this has to be purple. And then the only option that would be left would be blue with Gunjan. Now, which color shorts did Gopal wear? So Gopal wear which color shorts? So this cannot be white. Now what color is left here? The only color left here would be yellow. So Gopal would wear the shorts for yellow color. I hope that's clear. I repeat again, for questions like this, what we have to do is we have to create a table. We'll solve this question again to simplify it. So let's say you have t-shirt, you have shorts. Okay, you have 5 students which are Gopal, Mitesh, Ritesh, Gunjan and Hasmukh. Okay, let's mark each of those in order to simplify. It says that the child who is wearing the same color t-shirt would not have the same color short. But I ignore that sentence for the first round. I take the sentences which are very obvious. So Gunjan wearing white shirt and Gopal wearing white shirt and Gunjan wearing black shorts. Okay, then I say Ritesh wore grey shirt and green shorts. So again that is given. Now, if this is white, this cannot be white. Okay, so what can be white? Either this can be white or this can be white. There are 2 options where white could be there. Now I say Hasmukh did not wear purple shirts and purple goes with white. So purple goes with white, that means purple would be here and purple would go with white. Since Hasmukh is not wearing purple, okay, what color Hasmukh would wear? Hasmukh would wear another color that would be left. So white, purple and grey are gone. Now what would be the color left? If it is black, this cannot be black. Okay, so what is the only color left with Hasmukh, which is black, because this cannot be black. And since this cannot be black, what is the next color left? Is blue. Okay, now black is Hasmukh's color and this would go with what? This would go with the black goes with pink, so this would go with pink. Okay, now this goes with this goes with this, so all of them done.